Stop composting wrong, the carbon-negative raised bed that eats waste and honestly, supercharges your harvests. Most gardeners quit composting before they ever quit gardening, not because they don't care, but because, they were told soil fertility has to be managed like a chemistry lab, smelly bins, stalled piles, endless turning, waiting months just to move nutrients from one place to another. That frustration kills momentum fast. Here on Crop Corner, we're cutting through all of that. Because there is a better system, one that composts exactly where plants grow, locks carbon underground, eliminates waste, and quietly delivers bigger harvests every single season. This is not a trend, this is a fundamental shift in how you build soil. The biggest flaw with conventional composting is separation. Waste lives in one place, crops live in another, and months pass while nutrients leak into the air, wash away, or simply lose relevance to the growing season. By the time finished compost finally reaches the bed, much of its original energy is gone. Carbon escapes, nitrogen volatilizes, and gardeners burn out moving materials around instead of growing food. A self-composting raised bed, well, it really closes that loop completely. Scraps, carbon materials, and soil life all exist together in one system, functioning continuously. Nothing is stored, hauled, or, babysat. Fertility never pauses. Roots grow directly into active decomposition zones, tapping nutrients at the exact moment microbes release them. That single change, honestly, is what turns an ordinary raised bed into a carbon-negative engine. When decomposition happens underground, buffered by soil and oxygen, carbon behaves differently. Instead of oxidizing rapidly and returning to the atmosphere, it binds with microbial byproducts, fungal glues, and mineral surfaces. That carbon stays put. The bed doesn't just reduce waste, it actively stores atmospheric carbon long-term. Inside the soil, bacteria surge around nitrogen pockets, fungi thread through carbon layers like underground highways, and worms arrive naturally once moisture and structure stabilize. No inoculants, no purchased worms. Biology assembles itself when the environment is right. This is ecosystem engineering, not compost management. Worm bins sound elegant, but they bottleneck fertility. They handle limited volume, demand constant moisture control, and still separate nutrients from plant roots. Castings must be harvested, spread, and supplemented. Leftovers still exist. Plastic bins still take space and attention. A carbon-negative raised bed removes every extra step. There is no harvesting compost, no feeding schedule, and no container maintenance. You manage layers, not organisms. Layers are forgiving, scalable, and resilient. Nature has used them for millions of years, and they work just as well in a backyard garden. Depth is non-negotiable. A minimum of 12 inches is workable, but 18 inches unlocks the full potential of this system. A 4x8 foot bed offers the best balance between volume and accessibility, though any size functions as long as depth is there. The bottom layer sets the tone for everything above it. Start with 4 to 6 inches of chunky carbon materials such as twigs, small branches, dry stalks, shredded cardboard, or untreated wood chips. This layer creates airflow, absorbs excess moisture, and breaks down slowly over several years, anchoring carbon long-term. Next up, above that, comes the nitrogen engine. You'll want to spread about 2 to 3 inches of nitrogen-rich material evenly across the surface. Things like vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, finely crushed eggshells, spent plants, and, even fresh weeds all work well here. The main thing is, even distribution matters more than the exact ingredients you use. Now, seal that layer with about 3 inches of dry carbon material, like shredded leaves, straw-dried grass, or torn cardboard. This carbon cap prevents odor, blocks flies, feeds beneficial fungi, and, importantly, keeps oxygen moving through the system. To finish, add about 6 to 8 inches of finished soil or mature compost right on top. This is the layer where you can actually plant immediately. There's no waiting period at all. Go ahead and water the entire bed thoroughly, making sure that moisture reaches all the way down to the bottom layers. The goal here is even dampness, not saturation. When you squeeze a handful of soil and it feels kind of like a wrung-out sponge, you've hit the mark. This moisture level activates microbes without suffocating them and allows decomposition to begin immediately. There's really no formula to dilute here, and no tea to brew. Just water until everything is evenly moist. The biology takes care of the rest. This system works right from day one. Greens like lettuce, kale, beans, squash, tomatoes and peppers thrive because nutrients are released slowly and continuously. Roots will grow downward into richer and richer zones as the season goes on. Instead of burning your plants with fast fertilizer, you're feeding them through biology. As the bed settles, it becomes more productive, not less. Throughout the season, feed from the top, pull back mulch, add a thin layer of kitchen scraps no more than 1 inch thick, then cover with about 2 inches of dry carbon, water lightly. That's it. This top-down feeding mimics forest floors. Nothing is buried deep. Everything breaks down where oxygen is present, smells disappear, pests lose interest. If moisture ever feels excessive, add more carbon. If breakdown slows, add more greens. The bed communicates clearly if you pay attention. Each season, the original carbon layer slowly collapses into dark, crumbly soil. At the end of the year, you simply top the bed back up with fresh carbon. Soil depth increases instead of shrinking. Fertility compounds instead of depleting. Nutrients are cycled endlessly through microbial bodies, fungal networks, root exudates, and organic matter. Plants grown in this system, they show thicker stems, deeper color, stronger pest resistance, and, honestly, heavier yields. And it's not because of fertilizer, but because of biology working without interruption. Every handful of dry leaves or cardboard you add, it captures carbon. Every microbial transformation stabilizes it underground. If you scale this across a garden, the impact becomes real, and when you scale it across communities, it actually becomes climate action wrapped inside everyday food production. And none of it requires perfection, expensive inputs, or extra labor. It saves money, eliminates waste, and really, it simplifies gardening instead of complicating it. So, in hot regions, you'll want to add extra carbon layers to slow down decomposition and help retain moisture. In wet climates, it's best to raise your beds higher and use chunkier carbon at the bottom to improve drainage. And in cold areas, decomposition actually generates a gentle warmth that can, extend the growing season naturally. The principles never change. Balance, airflow, moisture, cover. If something smells wrong, air is missing and carbon fixes it. If growth slows, nitrogen is missing and greens fix it. That's the entire troubleshooting guide, really. Gardening doesn't need trends. The most powerful systems copy nature and then, honestly, just get out of the way. A carbon-negative raised bed is more than a compost solution. It's really a mindset shift. Waste becomes input, soil becomes storage, and, plants become proof. If you're tired of managing compost instead of growing food, this is your answer. Build it once, feed it gently, harvest endlessly. If this guide helped you rethink what soil can be, subscribe to Crop Corner for more grounded, real-world growing wisdom. Share this with a fellow gardener who's still fighting their compost pile, and, hey, just keep growing forward.